Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Nisha and Jacob from Career Guidance and Adolescent Counseling Cell, Alapura. When I say the word Goa, what comes to your mind? Pristine beaches, lush green palm trees, vibrant festivals, and a relaxed way of life. We often view Goa as the ultimate escape, but today we are going to look past that tourist postcard and talk about a very real, very urgent crisis brewing in those beautiful villages. Today's article is an in-depth report published in Hindu, brilliantly reported by journalist Snehal Mudha. It's titled From Green to Grey in Goa. Through detailed ground reporting, journalist Snehal examines how a single controversial amendment to a town planning law is threatening to turn Goa's lush paddy fields, orchards, and forests into concrete jungles. As educators, students, and citizens, we often talk about sustainable development and climate change as abstract global concepts. But today, we are going to look at what it actually looks like on the ground when local communities have to fight to save their ecosystem. Let's unpack this together. So, what exactly triggered thousands of Goans to take to the streets in protest, staging hunger strikes, and facing police action earlier this year? It all boils down to an amendment called Section 39A of the Town and Country Planning Act, introduced in 2024. To understand why this is dangerous, we have to look at how land is traditionally planned. In a proper regional plan, areas are marked. This is an eco-sensitive zone, this is a forest, this is an orchard. You cannot just build massive concrete structure in eco-sensitive zone. In fact, Goa's 2011 regional plan protected 83% of the land as eco-sensitive. But Section 39A flipped the script. It essentially allows the changing of these ecologically sensitive zones into settlement zones for real estate. The article quotes advocate Norma Alvarez, an environmental activist, who put it perfectly. She says, the problem with Section 39A is that it destroys the concept of planning. Every property owner is now a planner for their plot and can decide what they can do with that land and what they want to construct. Think about that. If an individual or a massive real estate company buys a beautiful hill or a forest, under this new rule, they can apply to convert it into a settlement and build luxury villas. And the scale is terrifying. Architect Tahir Nuronia, he compiled data showing that applications have already been submitted to convert a staggering 68 lakh square meters of land. Out of this, over 13% has already been unlocked for construction. This is not just about losing a nice view, it's about survival. The article takes us to the lanes of Palim village, where residents gather in front of a temple, poring over maps and planning their resistance. They are stringing up banners that read Amchang Udak Amka Sai, which translates to Our water for us. Why are they worried about water? The reason is that when we pave our orchards and cut into hills, and what we are doing is we actually destroy Earth's ability to hold water. The residents knew that this hyperdevelopment will lead to severe water and electricity shortages, massive sewage treatment problems, and a disruption of the livelihoods of local fisherfolk. We see this happening in specific areas mentioned in the report. In Penang, near the new Manohar International Airport, massive tracts of land are being provisionally converted. In Kanduli, a heavily forested hill is slated to become a settlement zone. In Old Goa, historical and ecological buffer zones are under threat from Delhi-based construction companies. The tragedy here, as one resident points out, that the local people feel bypassed. These massive projects are being approved at the ministerial level, entirely skipping the Grama Sabhas, the local village councils. The people who actually live there, who understand the carrying capacity of the village, have no say when outside commercial interests decide to build a 9-story mall or a massive housing complex next to their lake. Now, sitting here in Kerala and surrounded by our own beautiful backwaters and green canopies, we might ask, why should we deeply study a zoning law in Goa? As teachers, we are in the business of shaping young minds. When we teach geography, civics, or environmental science, we cannot just teach definitions. We must use real world case studies like Goa to teach our students the delicate balance between human development and ecological preservation. We must teach them how local governance works and what happens when it is bypassed. The world we inherit is fragile. Understanding 39A S in Goa help us to realize that environmental protection is not just about planting trees on Environment Day. It's about policy. It's about law. It's about active civic participation. It teaches us to ask hard questions. Development is okay. Development, we put is to development, but development at whose cost? This is a wake-up call about civic duty. The Goans standing in front of the temples, filing objections and fighting to protect their hills are everyday people. It reminds us that protecting our local environment, whether it's a paddy field in Alapura or a hill in Goa, requires constant vigilance from the community. I want to conclude by reminding that India is a rapidly developing nation. We need infrastructure, we need housing and economic growth. But if that growth comes at the cost of turning our ecologically sensitive zones into concrete jungles, it's a false economy. True national progress requires a model of development that includes voices of local communities. When a government listens to a Grama Sabha, it strengthens the very roots of our democracy. When we protect our forests and watersheds in states like Goa, Kerala, or Uttarakhand, we are safeguarding India's natural wealth, ensuring food and water security for generations to come. Balancing commercial ambition with ecological wisdom will not hold India back. It will definitely make India resilient, sustainable, and truly prosperous in the long run. A big appreciation to the journalist Nehal Mutta for bringing the ground realities to light. How can we balance the need for new homes and businesses while protecting our natural landscapes? This is Dr. Nisha and Jacob from Career Guidance and Adolescent Counseling Cell, Alapura. See you in the next.